Hello, this is Lou Fioretti. This tape is designed to use your imagination. We're going to do it in 5 different parts. First of all, sit back, relax, lay down, be comfortable. You can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. If you're a beginner, it'll probably be easier to do with your eyes closed. Now that you're relaxed and comfortable, imagine that you're going to the theater. You're opening the doors, you're going in. If you want to stop and get some popcorn or snacks, whatever people do in the theater, fine. Now that you're done getting what you need, you go into one of the doors that says the movie just about ready to start. You open the door and you see the screen, the lights on the screen, and there's nobody in the theater. You're the only one there. So pick a seat and sit down any place in the theater you want, and nobody's going to disturb you. Nobody else is going to come into the theater. It's strictly you. Now, first of all, imagine yourself on the screen in the theater. Visualize yourself. Now, the first scene is going to be visualize yourself surviving. Whatever survival is to you. It could be anything. See yourself surviving. If you have to stop this tape, fine, and put it back on later on when you're ready, because some people, it may be a longer scene than others. So see yourself surviving. Let the mind play with this image. You're the observer in the seat. Remember that. You're the observer in the seat looking at the screen that you're on, and you're surviving. And let it play out. Okay, now that you've seen this, visualize yourself surviving without trying to survive. See what images start taking place on the screen. Remember, you're in the seat observing all of this. See yourself surviving without controlling things. Remember, again, you're in the seat, nice and safe and comfortable. Everything is happening on the movie screen. Remember, you can shut this tape off at any time and let the scene play out just like in the movie. If nothing is changing on the screen of you not trying or controlling surviving, that's fine. This exercise should be done 3 to 7 times a week. After a while, the scene will start to change. Definitely start to change. It's a simple exercise. It's one that should be done 3 to 7 times a week. So keep that in mind. If nothing's changing now, that's fine. If something's changing now, pay attention, observe what's going on. And now we will get ready for scene 2. Scene 2. You're in the theater, you're sitting down, you're the only one there. Visualize yourself on the screen again. Remember, you can turn this tape off anytime you feel like it. Now see yourself on the screen. See yourself being emotional. Anything that makes you emotional, whether it's an emotion of love, an emotion of hate, happiness, sorrow, whatever it may be, whatever emotions are to you, whatever emotions come out of you. Try to feel what you're seeing on the screen being emotional. Make observations what's going on the screen. Remember, you're the observer in the seat. Keep observing what's going on with you on the screen. Now, every emotion that you see coming out, see yourself calming down, regardless of what the emotion is. Just see yourself calming down on the screen, regardless of the emotion. It's not a case of if it's a good emotion or a bad emotion. It's a case of observing your emotions and then calming down, regardless of what the emotion is. Take your time seeing this. If you have to shut off the tape, fine. This exercise also, if you're not calming down right now, do this exercise anywhere from 3 to 7 times a week. Eventually, you will see yourself calming down, and you might be calming down sooner with one emotion than the another emotion. And always observe. You're in the seat observing this going on. Remember that. Now we're going to get ready for the third scene. All right, now you're in the seat again, looking at the screen. You see yourself on the screen. This time you're going to see yourself thinking. Remember, you're the only one in the theater, and you're the only one that can see yourself thinking. And just keep observing the you on the screen as the person in the screen is thinking. Observe what they're thinking about. They could be thinking about something they believe. You can ask that person on the screen questions. Do you believe in what you're thinking because somebody taught you to think this way? Or are you thinking on your own? Keep observing. You can ask questions to the person on the screen, why they're thinking what they're thinking. Remember, you can shut this tape off any time to keep observing what the person on the screen is thinking. Feel what they're thinking. Is it a social issue that they're thinking about? And is it something that's accepted socially? Is that the reason why they're thinking what they're thinking? Maybe it's a cultural thing they're thinking, depending on your background. But observe what's taking place as the person on the screen is thinking. Now take it one step further. Where is this thinking coming from? Try to locate where the thinking is coming from. You're the observer. You're in the seat. Try to locate on the screen where that person is, the you that's on the screen, where the thinking is coming from. Take all the time you need. If thoughts come up in images, fine. However way it's going to work for you. Just keep observing. Where are the thoughts coming from? Are they habitual thoughts? Thoughts accumulated over a span of time that have become habit for us. This has nothing to do with good or bad thoughts at all. This is not something to judge. They could be any thoughts, so let them thoughts come up on the screen as you're the observer. No one else is in the theater with you but you. No one else can see the screen but you. Ask yourself, is this person on the screen holding back any thoughts? Keep observing. If you want to stop this tape and make notes, get a pencil and paper, fine. Keep observing. Where are the thoughts coming from? Is the person on the screen being objective about the thoughts? Or are they being judgmental about the thoughts? The more thoughts you can visualize coming up on the person that's on the screen, the more freedom you will have. Thoughts may come up that you no longer want to hang on to. Let them float. Let them fly away. Which way they want to go, let them go. You're the observer. This is something you want to continue doing. It's a process that's taking place. Keep observing the person on the screen. And the person on the screen is you. Ask yourself questions. What would the person on the screen think about such and such, whatever it may be? If it's a problem, let's say with family or relationships, ask a question to that person on the screen what they think about it. And allow other thoughts to come up that may be answers for your particular question. Same with health problems. Ask the person on the screen what they think about such and such again. And also allow thoughts to come up that may be answers to the question. Now you can do the same thing if it's a financial problem. Ask the person on the screen what they think about a financial problem you may have. And also observe any thoughts that may come up on the screen to that person, which is you, that may have the answer. Now you can continue doing this for any problem. Even very small ones, big ones, doesn't make any difference. Use the same process. Ask the question to the person on the screen what they think about this or that. And also allow thinking to come up on the screen that may be the answer. And this is a continual unfoldment. You're the observer of yourself on the screen. And you're the only one that can see the screen and the thinking. And nobody's going to disturb you in the scene or in the theater. If you want to look for ideas on the screen, imagine a light bulb going off with an idea and a thought in there. Whichever is going to work for you to help you become free. Everybody has a different meaning of freedom. So whatever free is to you, this is what you're looking for. Your thinking about freedom may change later on as you continue doing these exercises. That's also part of unfolding. It's a journey you're on. Even this journey and this practice that you're doing, if you want to discuss it with your friends, fine. But remember, they all may have a different perception of what's going on their screen for their particular situation. So nobody should judge the other person's scene because it's all important for that person, even if it may not be important to you, or the other person's opinion about yours may not be important to them. So if you do discuss it, make sure you know the person you're discussing it with, that they have this understanding. If they don't, you're probably better off not saying anything to anybody. Now observe this person on the screen, thinking without trying to think. You're the observer. Let thinking occur naturally. Just keep observing the person on the screen, which is you, who is allowing thinking to happen. They're not trying to think. They're letting thinking occur. Here again, if you want to shut the tape off, sit back and stay relaxed and watch the scene, fine. Or if you want to write things down, fine. I recommend that you do so. See how this person feels about letting thinking happen. Try to feel what they're thinking about letting thinking happen. Don't try to analyze what I just said. Just observe the person on the screen, which is you. You can analyze this tape after the tape is over. How does this person feel about allowing thinking to happen? Make observations. You can make mental observations. You can write them down. Or you just could be aware of what's going on. Remember, it's your picture. You bought the ticket to go to the theater. This exercise also I recommend you do 3 to 7 times a week. And each time you do it, notice if things change, because things will change. And if you're making notes, compare notes from week to week, and you'll start to notice a difference. Especially when you're allowing thinking to happen. Be aware of that. And all things will improve. Number 4, intuition. You're in the theater. You're the only one there. You're sitting in a seat. Visualize yourself on the screen in the theater. Visualize yourself as being very intuitive. What is the person on the screen doing? Observe what they're doing. Remember, this person on the screen is very intuitive. You can ask this person any question you want about any situation. It doesn't have to be a logical question. Sometimes we don't know what question to ask. Or there may be several ways to ask the same question. So if you have a question and you have 5 different ways of asking it, ask it all 5 ways and see what the response you get from the person, which is you, that's on the screen, who's very intuitive. Ask your questions. Intuition is very important, and this person is very intuitive. Intuition is not something that people learn how to do. It's part of who you are. So this person on the screen is very intuitive. Age has nothing to do with intuition. A newborn baby is probably more intuitive than somebody 20, 30, 40 years old or older. Intuition is freedom. Intuition is freedom from the known and the unknown. So ask this person questions. Here again, if you want to stop the tape, fine. Write down the answers you're receiving. Keep asking questions. This person on the screen, which is you, is very intuitive. This lesson, I would recommend also you do 3 to 7 times a week. And as you go along, this person may become more intuitive as time goes by. So it doesn't make any difference right now if you had a lot of success with it or little, or even none. The more you practice this exercise, the more intuitive the person on the screen, which is you, will become. It's part of your natural beingness. So stay with it. Scene 5. You're in the seat, in the theater. You're the only one there. Now you're going to see yourself on the screen again. This time you're going to see yourself as your higher self. Whatever your higher self appears to be will be on the screen. Your higher self may look like you, or it may not look like you. Your higher self is eternal. Your higher self never ages. Your higher self is the real you. Remember, you're observing this. You're in the theater. You're sitting down. You're observing the person on the screen. The you that's on the screen. Your higher self. Keep observing your higher self. If any questions come to mind, ask the person on the screen. Any question. You may get an answer, you may not get an answer. In time, answers will come the more you do this exercise. Ask your higher self what it does to survive. See how your higher self survives. Keep observing. Whatever you see, keep observing. If you need to shut this tape off, fine. If you need to stop and take notes, fine, do so. But keep observing. You may see your higher self surviving in a way you never thought of before. That's fine. But let your higher self have all the freedom it needs to do what it does. Your higher self is free, totally free. Your higher self is totally free of all conditions. See your higher self, how it reacts to emotions. How emotional is your higher self? See what kind of emotions your higher self has. Keep observing. Remember, you're the only one sitting in the theater. Your higher self may have emotions, it may not have emotions. But let it be free. No restrictions on your higher self. It's totally free. See what you feel about your higher self. The more you do this exercise, the more aware you will become of your higher self. Ask your higher self what it thinks about certain situations you have in your life right now. See how it answers you. It may have several different answers for one question, depending on the situation. That's fine. Keep observing. Make notes if you have to. Make mental notes. Write things down on a pad if you have to. Stop the tape if you have to. Keep observing. What thought process does your higher self have? Remember, your higher self is eternal. Your higher self has a solution to any question, any problem. Your higher self is always with you. Your higher self understands the universe. Your higher self understands nature. Your higher self understands the planet. Your higher self understands all the planets. So your questions can be unlimited questions about anything. Keep observing your higher self. Imagine what you look like, what your higher self looks like. Your higher self may change the way it looks. It's totally free. It's totally free. You are totally free. You are never separated from your higher self. Your higher self is never separated from God. Whatever God is to you, your higher self is never separated from God. Your higher self is part of the universe. It's totally free. You can ask your higher self any question you want. Your higher self has no limitations. Keep observing your higher self. You could ask yourself a question. What do you feel about your higher self? What do you think about your higher self and what you're seeing? Can you actually hear your higher self with your ears? See your higher self holding a flower. Now try to sense the aroma of the flower. You're the only one in the theater. Smell the fragrance of the flower your higher self is holding. Keep repeating this practice. Eventually you will smell the fragrance if you haven't yet. See your higher self eating some food that you like. Now see if you can taste the food your higher self is eating. Keep doing this, keep observing. If you don't taste anything right now, you will as you repeat this exercise. Ask your higher self to speak directly to you where your ears can hear. It could be just a simple statement. Remember, your higher self is totally free. It's always been free, and it always will be free. This practice is designed to get you in tune to your higher self. Eventually you will hear things that your higher self is telling you. Ask your higher self to send you a vision that you can see with your inner vision. Just make it something simple. Like maybe a picture of what the weather's going to be like tomorrow at a certain time. And if the information is correct, what the vision is, you know you're in tune with your higher self. And the more you do this practice, the more in tune you will be with your higher self, and the better the information will get. And the freer you become, the more in tune you will become to your higher self, because your higher self is totally free. Keep observing. Make notes. Make mental notes. Make physical notes. See where your higher self is going to be doing tomorrow. Ask your higher self what they did yesterday. Keep observing. Like I said, you can stop this tape anytime. Ask your higher self, what is it doing today? Keep observing. These answers may come to you in a form of hearing, a form of seeing, a form of feeling, or all the ways. Ask your higher self what it is doing this very moment. Because your higher self is always living in the now. It's in the now of eternity. And eternity is lived moment by moment. But yet your higher self knows all your past, knows your future, and lives in the moment, lives in the now, the eternal now. Your higher self has the answer to any question that you have, has the answer to any question you may have. Keep observing. This is freedom through self-observation. Keep observing your higher self, that part of you that is totally free. It always will be free. It always has been free. See if your higher self has any beliefs about anything. Ask it. Ask it if it has any religious beliefs. Ask it if it has faith in anything. Ask it if the beliefs you have about life are correct. Your higher self will give you the information. It'll give you the information through freedom. Ask your higher self about any faith you may have in anything or anyone. Remember, your higher self has the answer. Keep observing. Pay attention. Keep feeling your higher self. Keep seeing your higher self. Keep hearing your higher self. Let your higher self be your director, your guide. Your higher self is in direct communication with God. Your higher self and God are one. Keep observing what your higher self is saying, what your higher self is doing, what your higher self is feeling, and what your higher self is thinking. Your higher self is your best friend. Keep observing. If what you're seeing on your screen changes, fine. Life is a constant unfoldment. Let your higher self be the director. Your higher self can guide you in any situation, any time of the day. Even when you're sleeping, your higher self is awake. Your higher self never sleeps. Your higher self is always there to guide you, to answer questions, to help you. It's through freedom that we get in touch with our higher self. Any type of bondage we may have separates us from our higher self, and consequently separates us from God. But in reality, we're never separated from our higher self. It's the unawareness of being one with our higher self is where we think we're separated or feel separated. Start realizing that you're one with your higher self. Use your imagination to realize the you sitting in the chair in the theater is one with the you that's the higher self on the screen. There is no distance between the two of yous. You, the one sitting in the chair, and you, the one, the higher self on the screen, are one. It's totally free. No bondage. You're one with your higher self. There is no distance between you, the one in the seat, and your higher self that's on the screen. You and your higher self are one. There's no distance. Feel the oneness with you, the one sitting in the seat with the one on the screen. Feel this oneness. Your higher self is eternal. Your higher self is youthful. Your higher self knows. It's the knower. It's your best friend. It's your guide. It's your deliverer from bondage. Your higher self is totally free. You're one with your higher self. You need to realize that you're one with your higher self. It's the realization of oneness. Your life will start improving in all areas. The more you realize your oneness with your higher self. And the realization of oneness with your higher self would be a constant unfolding day by day. The more you're willing to accept from your higher self, the more of an unfoldment that will take place. Unfolding is a process. It's a process that continues on the eternal path. So time is not a factor. Your higher self has always been there for you, always will be there for you. So you go at your own speed. You unfold at your own speed. Realizing the oneness that you are with your higher self is not something that you have to try to do or force yourself to do. It's more of clarity of mind. The more you can release the bondage of your own mind, the more the realization of oneness with your higher self will come. Just relax and realize the oneness with your higher self. And ultimately, the oneness that your higher self has with God, whatever God may be. Keep practicing this. Here again, you can do it 3 to 7 times a week. But the realization of your oneness with your higher self, you could think about this at any time, no matter what you're doing. If it comes in little by little at first, fine. Time is not important. Observing the realization of your oneness of your higher self is important. So conscious observation of your oneness with your higher self, and see what your higher self is doing and what your higher self is guiding you to do. There's no rush. Your higher self is not in a hurry. It has an eternity to live, and so do you. So pay attention. I hope you enjoyed this tape. Now the movie for today is about to end, and you can get out of your seat if you feel like, or you just can keep sitting there and relax and get up when you feel like it, and open the doors and be on your way.